Hello, welcome back to the Piping Pastor. Today we'll be discussing Malcolm Guite's book, David's Crown, and his response to the Psalms. Well, to begin with a bit of an apology for some background noise, which I'm sure you'll hear at some point. It seems last time my conures were screaming, and this time my neighbor's dogs are chiming in with some pleasant background noise. So we have a pair of conures, a green cheek conure and a golden sun conure. And the golden sun conure is one of the loudest birds in nature, as I'm sure you've probably heard in previous videos. And sometimes my neighbor's dogs start to bark, and he barks back at them, and yeah, it makes for a very pleasant afternoon on the back porch, I have to tell you. But we soldier on. So I mentioned a wee while ago about Malcolm Guite's book, David's Crown. He wrote this in the beginning of the pandemic during lockdown, and he wrote it as a corona, which of course is a poem, or where poems are linked. So the last line in the first poem carries on to the first line of the next poem. And he wrote this as an interpretation of the Psalms. So he went through each one of the Psalms and wrote a poetic, I guess you could say, representation, interpretation, poetic response to each one of the Psalms. And I found it just brilliant. And the first time I read it, I looked very much forward to it. I follow him on his channel. That's how I discovered him, actually. He began his channel during lockdown, sharing poetry and literature from his library at home. And so I've been looking forward to getting this copy for a good long while, and I was not disappointed. The very first poem I read just jumped out at me and grabbed hold of me. And so we're going to share that with you today. And I thought it might be fun to read the Psalm 1 and then read his response to that. And today I'm smoking my Fusileers Ration, which is a lovely English blend. And it's not real Latakia forward. I typically actually prefer Latakia forward English blends, what some pipe smokers refer to as a lat bomb, because I really enjoy those deep, dark Englishes. Not a big fan of Perique, I'll be honest. I understand the need for it in certain blends to kind of brighten things up, but that peppery bite just doesn't sit very well with me. It doesn't seem to mellow very, very nicely. But this has Latakia in it, of course, and then some really nice Turkish Orientals and some bright Virginias. So it gives it kind of a bright floral note, which, it's not my typical English, but I've really rather enjoyed it. The downside is it is a bit wet. It's a bit moist of a tobacco, and I didn't let it dry out sufficiently, so I may have to relight a few times. And of course, it's a windy day. The other thing I really envy about Malcolm Guite is he gets to smoke in his study. Unfortunately, most of my library is at work, and I cannot smoke in my own office, unfortunately. That's largely my academic books and things of that nature. So most of my poetry is here at home, including one of my newer acquisitions, which is what we're going to be getting into in a moment. So, but again, I thought we'd start with Psalm 1. Now, I've read the Psalms through many, many times. I've preached on the Psalms, of course. I have had the opportunity to do exegesis on my Old Testament exegesis projects on the Psalms as well. Studied the Psalms in Hebrew while I was in seminary. So I'm no stranger to the Psalms. But I have to say that reading Guite's, I want to say a poetic interpretation of the Psalms, I found very enlightening. And that's the nice thing, the wonderful thing, I should say, about God's Word is that it's living revelation. It's not just a static book that was written and put together and a couple thousand years ago, like a historical text. It is God's revelation to us. It is God speaking to us through the written Word. And certainly, God blessed Malcomb Guite with a great deal of talent in the realm of writing, in addition to the fact that he is a minister of the gospel. So it's the perfect combination of poet and priest to write a response to the psalm. So begin here by reading Psalm 1. This is the NSREV New Revised Standard Version translation. Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or take the path that sinners tread, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on this law they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither. In all they do they prosper. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish. So we have Malcomb Guite's poem. Come to the place where every breath is praise, and God is breathing through each passing breeze. Be planted by the waterside, and raise your arms with Christ beneath these rooted trees, who lift their breathing leaves up to the skies. Be rooted too, as still and strong as these, open alike to sun and rain. Arise from meditation by these waters, bear the fruit of that deep rootedness. Be wise in the tree's long wisdom. Learn to share in the secret of their patience. Pass the day in their green fastness and their quiet air. Slowly discern a life, a truth, a way, where simple being flowers into light, and let the chaff of life just blow away. I've reread this poem in particular. I think I've read a half a dozen times already, and still every time it just puts a smile on my face, and I just feel this. Yes, I mean the imagery he uses there of the tree and all the things that you can learn in and through that in his writing. I think it's just wonderful. Be wise in the tree's long wisdom. That idea of patiently learning, slowly discerning a life, a truth, a way. You almost get this impression of a tree just quietly saying, slow down, discern the truth, accept the revelation. Have eyes to see and ears to hear, learn, know, grow, be rooted in God, and let God's wisdom flow in and through you. Sun, rain, doesn't make a difference. Just be open to all these things and slowly discern life. I just find that to be just wonderful. I mean, it's just let the chaff of life just blow away. Get what's really important. Get what the real wisdom of God is trying to impart to you, right? Of course, Christ is the way and the truth and the life. So, love that line. That slowly discern life, the truth, the way. God. That's it. Just pull it in. Be open to it. Receive it. And let the chaff of life just blow away. Right? I mean, the wicked blow away like chaff. The wicked thoughts, the wicked ideas, the wicked motivations, materialism, all that stuff. Just let it go. Let it go. Be rooted in what's really important, the real stuff. Let the rest of it blow away. He has another wonderful poem called "Smoke Rings from My Pipe," where he kind of does that same kind of imagery, where he talks about how smoking a pipe for him is meditative and it's reflective, and it helps him relieve stress in a way that he can just let the cares of life blow away like smoke rings from his pipe. Just that slow exhale and just letting things go. Just being rooted in the deep wisdom of Christ. That's what it is, and that's what it's all about. Just the fact that he ties it so closely to the tree, and all that imagery we get from that. I just think it's wonderful. And we'll be going through more of these, of course. There's one poem for each psalm, so it was an extensive work, and he wrote it as a Corona, as I mentioned. So it's all linked together from one to the next. So it's great fun reading it, and it's one of those books where you can sit and just go through it and go through it and go through it, and then I gotta read that one again. I got it this like 8-9 times. I gotta go through this, but it never becomes laborious. It's just a wonderful read, and it has a great effect. So I highly encourage you taking a look at it. And as I said, we'll get back into it, and we'll revisit him in some of his other works as well. So I think he's a great contemporary author that we are blessed to have right now. We can actually still engage with. So, well, that is all for this time. So until next time, stay rooted in the trees. Stay rooted like the trees in their patient wisdom. And happy reading.